this is one of the easiest ways I found to install an interior door. Now, what we've got here is a 24-inch door that was like at the in the master bathroom, the separate little toilet area, and someone opened it really hard, and the doorstop put a hole in it right there. So what I chose to do was run to big box store, Lowe's, and get a 24 by 80 interior door, and it's called a board door. Now, the difference between these slab doors and say having someone install you a door is a couple of things. One, you can get these non-board, and what that means is the doorknob and the latch assembly and all that is not bored out. You know, for like $3 more, you just get it already done. On your interior door, you've got hinge plates here, and at each one of these plates, you'll notice that it is it's flush. So that means this plate is recessed into that door right there. And that's the trickiest part of installing an interior door. But I'm going to show you the the easiest way that I found to do this, that requires no router, no chiseling, and probably a tool that you've already got around the house. Okay, once we get our hardware removed, then we're going to lay down our new door on the bottom. We're going to line up our doorknobs holes right here, and we're going to also square up the corners on whichever end is closest once you have the doorknobs. This is your main guide in matching up your doors and making sure everything's lined up. So you see how I've got it there. All right, once you get that as square as you possibly can, most likely on one end of your door it's going to be longer. So you just take a pencil and you mark that like that. Now, the hinges. Once you have your hinges removed, you'll see that this area I was referring to is recessed. Okay, and that's where our hinges set and make everything close tightly in a door. Well, we need to make sure that we get these things cut in the exact same spots as our previous door, as our old door. So what I'm going to do is get a straight edge. Actually, I'm going to use a level, and I'm going to bring that edge right here using a straight edge down onto this door right here. All right, do the same on this side. All right, and then the next thing we have to do is get this distance for this particular hinge here. Okay, does that make sense? We want this hinge to sit in the doorway on the side of the door, just like on this door, just like it does here. When we remove our hinges, we're going to make a little mark right here and right, I'm trying to do this on camera, here. And what we're doing basically is taking the line where this door comes across right here and meets the hinge. All right, and what that's doing is giving us the distance that this hinge needs to sit into the door. Once we make our marks, we'll line it up here, and we'll line up those little marks with the new door. Okay, and then we'll draw a line across the bottom. And when we get done, it's going to look something like, now this is not what I'll be cutting, but it'll look something like that. Our marks. That's terrible, and we will not be using that as the guide, but you get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and make my marks, and then I'm going to show you really why you're here to watch this video, and that's how to get these grooves cut in here. Easy peasy. it's time to cut these bad boys. And this is probably why you are here. So, now there's a couple of ways to do this already, as we know. You take a chisel and a hammer and you chisel out this area. I don't like that method. I mean, sure, people have been using that for years and years and years. It works, it works, it works, it works. So the easiest way, really, kind of, is to use a router. But with a router, you're going to have to build a jig or buy a jig to set up here. Make sure that it's at the right depth. You can't see your cutting surface as you're doing it. Not at least with a router I have. And honestly, not that many people have routers. Unless you're doing more and more woodworking, then why spend the 130 bucks on a decent router and all the associated tackle for it to never use it? But what you all probably do have, or most of us do, that are looking at videos like this, is a Dremel. Now, a Dremel is a very versatile rotary tool that I'm sure you know all about. And you can get a good one for about 60 bucks, even as cheap as 45. But you don't want just to go in here with a Dremel by itself, but the good folks at Dremel have an attachment called a plunge router. Now, it's kind of like using a router, but that clear base allows us to see our work area as we're removing material. So then we'll put our router in our Dremel in our router housing, and in the end, I don't have it with me right at this second, it will look like this. Oh my, wow. Now the thing that we got to do, that we make sure we do right, is set the depth of our little bit. But basically you loosen this, and this spring will push your plunger back out. So what I did is I took my assembly here, the Dremel and the housing, plunger housing, and pushed it in, and then screwed that knob tight so it holds that position. You can use the set screw here, and then set your set screw depth right here to that stopper right there. Boop, boop. This is the good part right here. You already probably have a Dremel. You pay $29, I think, for this, or $25 for this housing at Lowe's or wherever. And now you've got your Dremel that you can use for a zillion projects. And you got this inexpensive attachment that anytime you need to install doors, you've got. Let me show you how this works. I realize you're not going to be able to see the exact cutting that's taking place, but you'll see what I'm doing. And then I'll move the camera and try to get you a shot of the Dremel in action. Okay, here we go. And there you go. I mean, just like I said, it is not very difficult at all to make it come out looking really nice. Now I realize that little snafu is right there, and you saw that happen. The camera fell and I reached over to fix it and didn't pay attention to my tool, and that's what happens. But when we put our hinge in here, stay hinge, well, you can see that it sits right in there flush. I smashed my finger, but smushed right there. I mean, flush right there, just like it came from the factory. So we'll do that 3 times and we'll be done. Nothing wrong with the old school chisel method, nothing at all. I just happen to suck at that process. I've done it in the past once. It took me forever to get it looking the way I want it to look, and I wasn't happy with the results. I ended up gouging it too deep in places, and I'm just not that good. But if you've got a Dremel, I mean, 29 bucks, this is a no-brainer, easy way to get this done and come out with a project that looks perfect. Well, anyway, if you have any questions, please let me know. And by the way, I just realized that I have over 500 subscribers now, and that's freaking awesome. So, thanks. I had I didn't even pay attention to that. And then one day I looked up there and was like, oh my goodness, you know, and I'm going to get a better setup too, man. This try to sit and lean in a camera against a cell phone against things. It's for the freaking birds. This is my way. I thought it was neat. It's inexpensive, and you come out, at the exception of that nonsense right there, with a pretty professional looking finished product. Anyway, thanks a lot. See you later.